Hello. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Let me have
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Can you see the screen also?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So today we will take up this project management or network techniques. What is understanding about projects? What do we mean by a project? Any idea? It's a common word which we very frequently use, project. So what does a project mean?
Sir, an undertaking.
Hmm. I mean, is it a task? Is it an activity? Is it a combination of some of them? And what example comes to your mind when we say project? A project is basically a combination of various tasks, as you are saying, and this whole that combination of tasks or activities which are time bound, one time type of task is a project. And there are examples. For example, very simple one we can understand, that construction of a building, new management complex where we are sitting, will be joining. So that was one time task plus certain activities. For example, I mean, it's planning, it's file work, documentation, then it's execution in the form of say the foundation, then it's the structure, then what activity involved in this construction of building. As you know, it's a foundation, then we have structure, we have plastering, we have painting, we have sanitary work, we have electrical work, we have sewage system, we have system for air conditioning, and so on. And these activities are different in nature, and many times are conducted by different expertise, different group of people. And all these activities are time consuming because it takes time. And these activities, all this of these activities is also important. Some of the activities can be one activity has to follow the other one. In this example of construction, in this example of constructing a building, nothing can be done before the foundation is ready. Nothing can be done after foundation, the structure will take place. We can build up the structure. Once this, for example, two activities can be run in parallel. The electrification or electrical system, electrical network, the concealed wiring that we have, that can be done, as well as some sewage system. All work can be done together. Because these activities, they are not dependent on each other. But constructing the structure depends on having foundation first. Similarly, painting can be done only once the plastering has been done. We cannot have plastering and painting together simultaneous, as we can do. I mean, in case of electrical work and sanitary work, we can do in parallel. So, there, for a project, we identify activities or events in some cases. If you, uh, we will come to that, what does it mean and what is an activity. So, events and activities which are the sequence of which depend on each other, depend on the requirement of the project, and then there are two resources involved. One in the form, the other in the form of money. So, material, labor, and etc. In that money part. So a project is a set of well-defined events which you need to complete the requirements or conforming the requirements in a stipulated period of time. So why are these two important things important for any project? Now coming to another example. So construction of a building is a project. Fundraising is a project for a particular event if you want to raise funds. So that all requires some set of activities. Preparing preparing a lecture or one syllabus is a project because it requires designing syllabus, it requires lecturing, it requires conducting the internal assessment, it requires evaluation part, it requires examination and all that. So all these activities together, so teaching a course is also a project. Construction of a building, commercial or residential, whatever, is a project. Construction of a dam is a project. Construction of flyover is a project. An event, say for example, the event that happened yesterday here, I mean, that program, inaugural function. So that was a small project. Uh, Advertising campaign is a project. What else? Installation of a machine is a project. So all these set of tasks which are one-time tasks are called project. One time means once it is over, the project is complete. अगर जब एक सब्जेक्ट की टीचिंग पूरी हो गई, वो प्रोजेक्ट पूरा हो गया. अब नेक्स्ट सेमेस्टर में दूसरा कोर्स होगा या दूसरा कोई आपको टास्क होगा, तो it has a distinct termination point. हर प्रोजेक्ट के साथ ये पता होता है कि ये प्रोजेक्ट यहाँ शुरू हुआ, यहाँ खत्म हुआ. वो प्रोजेक्ट हैंड ओवर होने के बाद देन यू गो फॉर अनदर प्रोजेक्ट. So generally there are three stakeholders involved in a project. Any idea now with these examples? Can anyone come up? Who are those three main stakeholders for any project? With any of these examples which I was just listing?
So project manager.
Say, take example of construction of a residential complex.
So civil engineer. Yeah, in the construction, you can select a civil engineer.
So, okay, construction of a flyover, right? Construction of a flyover. If I ask you who are the three major, and who does not mean individuals.
So the contract provider, the contract receiver, and the government.
Yes. So there are three major stakeholders. One is the client. The other one is the project management team. And the third one is the beneficiary. Means government. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You're
sir, you're
audible,
audible.
just fluctuating.
Okay.
There is
Okay, because
fluctuation in your voice.
we have lost power. We have lost the power here, so maybe we may lose as well. I will connect with some other device. Okay, so let us. So there are three parties. One is the government, because the project is a government project. There is another project management team, means the organization which executes this project. जो team flyover बनाएगी, and the third one is the beneficiary, means the public. So in most of the cases, at least there are two parties, but most of the cases there are three stakeholders in a project. एक project को execute करने वाला, एक जिसका वो project है, और तीसरी वो party जो उस project का beneficiary है, या minimum two. For example, in our case, teaching a course is a project. So, I mean, your teacher is the team that has this project, and the beneficiary is the class of the student. So either you have two stakeholders or three stakeholders in a project, and there are three requirements for any project. Then project should conform to the requirements. एक project ऐसा भी होता है कि it should complete within the stipulated period of time, and it should complete within the estimated budget. These three critical factors, you can say, to the successful, or to access the say successful completion of a project in terms of time, in terms of quality, that we call conformance to requirement, means the purpose is served or not. If a flyover is constructed within a given period of time, within the estimated budget, but it does not conform to the required quality, then that means nothing. So these three components should be fulfilled for a project to be successful. From a business point of view, if your project is a profit project, means I'm not talking about non-profit project. So from business point of view, why it is important that it should complete on time?
Because it has cost.
No, cost is a separate component. Cost and conformance to requirement. Let us just talk about the time, for example. Why it is important to complete the project within the stipulated period of time? Because if you do not, I'm talking from the project management team point of view, उस business के point of view से बात कर रहा हूँ. If you don't complete, if the project management team does not complete the project on time, so there is a possibility for them to lose some another project. अगर आप एक residential complex बना था, कोई उसका एक estimate था कि उसको काम दिया गया, उसको 4 महीने में पूरा करना, अगर महीने में नहीं कर पाया, there is a possibility that team might lose other business. If not, at least you will lose your goodwill. With your so from all angles,
which team will lose
yes,
the business? So which team will lose the business? The project undertaker or the project offerer who have offered the project?
From business point of view, the project executor, the builder.
So
but
can
from
we
the
say
benefit
that?
point of view, yes.
So can we say that we will not be
From
in
the
a state
benefit point
that?
of view, yes.
So can we say
In
that?
the state of complete your sentence.
So I was saying that can we say
Can we
that
say what?
in a future we won't be in a state that we can get more clients, we get on board more clients, because we were not able to provide the service on time as per the stipulated time, as per the deadline, we were not able to complete. So considering
Yes,
these factors,
this is
future
what I'm
clients.
saying. There are certain consequences of not completing a project on time. The one is that you may lose business, future business, because you have lost some opportunity. Opportunity cost आपने पढ़ी है कि एक काम करने के लिए कोई दूसरी चीज अगर छूट गई वो उसको हम अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट कह सकते हैं. आपका प्रोजेक्ट क्योंकि पहला पूरा नहीं होता, योर टीम वाज बिजी देयर, दूसरा प्रोजेक्ट शुरू होना था विच यू कुड नॉट टेक अप, इसलिए आपका पिछला प्रोजेक्ट पूरा नहीं हुआ था. दिस इज वन वे ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस वन. द सेकंड पार्ट इज दैट if you don't complete on time and that becomes your reputation, then you may not get more project in future. Third point is, if you have been late and you still want to complete it on time, you may have to put extra efforts or extra resources, जिसको हम कह सकते हैं कि आपने additional. So somehow therefore it becomes important all projects completed on time within the estimated budget and of course conforming to the requirements. So these could be three major critical success factors for project. But you will be surprised to know that majority of the projects they have not been able to satisfy all three conditions simultaneously. कहीं ना कहीं खासतौर से आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट गवर्नमेंट प्रोजेक्ट, तो वहाँ तो बहुत सारे इश्यूज हैं. देयर आर मेनी फैक्टर्स विच आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल डिले इन fundings for so many things. But even in private projects sometimes because of either lack of resources or one factor or the other, projects may not conform to these three requirements. So objective is you should complete on time and required quality. So for what we do this, why we call it is management, project management. And when management mean it's planning, it's scheduling, it's execution. So looking at this figure, just to have an idea. Scope, people, resources, schedule. Project कोविड के में हमेशा कहीं ना कहीं रही.
Sorry, sir, but you are not audible.
Excuse me, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, there are a lot of breakages in your
Yes, sir.
voice.
Okay. But it is visible.
Sir, everything
it is visible,
but your
you are
voice is not at all audible. Like there are periods when you're not audible at all, then you suddenly start speaking.
Yes, sir. There is some connectivity issue at your end.
Okay, let's check. देखो आना मेरा मान कनेक्टिविटी आ तो गई है लाइट, लेकिन भी तो कर रहा है लेकिन आवाज नहीं आ रही लोगों को. स्क्रीन दे कैन सी आवाज में प्रॉब्लम. Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible now.
Okay. Audible as well as visible. The screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's visible.
Good. So, schedule, resources, scope, they are some of the limitations for a project. Means maybe you can say these are reasons for which many times we are not able to complete the project on time. So as I was telling that when we use the word management, we mean planning, its scheduling and its execution in case of project. If you look at these components of project management, the another figure, communication, teamwork, analysis, budget. Can you see this one?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Deadlines, goals, problem solving. I mean, too many factors, too many skills also, you can say. Some of them are factors, some of them are skills required to successfully complete a project. So that is what we mean by project management. If you look at its cycle, of course, it starts with initiation. Some idea comes, and then you plan, then you execute. During its execution, you monitor, and once it is over, your project is handed over to the client or to the beneficiary, as the case may be. The same team now will take up some another project. So, if you look at the nature of projects, you will find that some of the projects are similar to some previous projects which you have done. Coming to construction example, for an organization, a constructor or a builder or a contractor, a similar project, whether the team or that enterprise, that firm constructs one building, then second building, third building. So the projects are different, but they have prior idea, prior experience, prior estimation. Once a builder is constructing,
You are not audible.
Sir, you're not at all audible.
all projects, the size of that project in terms of
Sir, sorry, we have missed what you have said earlier, sir.
Yes,
either
sir. Sir, please can you recall? We were not able to hear you.
of whatever. I mean,
So for last
okay.
few 1 minute,
Now
we are not able to hear
hello.
you.
Is it now audible?
Sir, you're audible, but it happens like your voice is fluctuating. Also, more of a time your
Connectivity
voice
issue is
go
there.
away.
When
Sir, you were not audible since the past
becomes
1 to 2 minutes.
okay.
We couldn't hear anything.
Hello. Now,
Yes, sir, you're audible.
am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And you can see the screen also. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what I was telling, that those projects, that cooking and wedding is not new for that cooking team. It was different. The second wedding, it was another one. The third one. So projects are different, but those projects they are making, but the size may vary. But so they are similar projects. There is another situation, research project, where you do not have much prior experience or prior idea about the activities which you need to complete, which you need to schedule, which you need to plan for that particular project. And as you move, as as you proceed, then there will be plenty of changes in activity and so on. So some of the projects are new nature. When we say new, new means we do not have much prior experience of the activities or activities that are involved in that project. Then it is new. And when we say a similar project, then we mean have quite good experience in projects, and we have quite good understanding about how much time will particular activity will take, how much resources are required, and so on. So depending on these two, we can differentiate between these two type of projects, and accordingly the two major techniques that we use for project management, what we call as CPM and Pert. You can write down the CPM means critical path method. Critical path method is CPM, and Pert is program evaluation and review technique. CPM is critical path method and Pert is program evaluation and review technique. These are two major project management techniques which are used for project management. Now we can have a look at the differences between the two. CPM generally focuses on cost optimization, and the second part you can see used in projects with predictable activities such as construction. Whereas PERT is used in project with unpredictable work such as research and development. CPM is deterministic in nature and PERT is probabilistic. Probabilistic again mean because this is used for unpredictable work, unpredictable activities. Therefore, it is probabilistic. You know, probabilistic means we assign probability to different activities, and by deterministic means then the things are known with certainty. So CPM is used for those projects which are deterministic in nature, deterministic treatment of time with single outcome, and PERT is used when we have probabilistic treatment of time or probabilistic projects. Another difference is show activities that can be sacrificed if needed to execute project because it distinguishes between critical and non-critical activities. ये जब इसके numerical part पर आएंगे then we will be able to understand it more clearly what is critical and what is non-critical activity. And PERT does not provide such information because it is basically dependent on events. So if you want to write it in simple words, CPM, now I repeat, CPM is deterministic in nature, CPM, PERT is probabilistic in nature, CPM is activity oriented, PERT is event oriented. I will explain again when come to a numerical part. And CPM is used generally where we have predictable activities, we go for unpredictable activities. Critical path method and program evaluation and review technique. Now, if you look at this example, just a simple set of activities, not necessarily completing or taking into account all, but just for explanation. Prepare the house plan, that is one activity. Construction, then carpentry work, then electrical wiring, painting, and say polishing and painting of the wooden part. So if these are how many? 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see this table?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yes. So for a project which is based on construction of a house, if we say that we are able to distinguish different activities which are listed here, and we can name them as, for example, A, B, C, D, E, and F. Look at the fourth column, predecessor. Predecessor means, say the first activity is prepare the house plan. Is there an activity which should be completed before this? Anything comes before plan also? No. Therefore, preparing the house plan is your first activity, and therefore, in the fourth column, you will see there is no predecessor for this activity. Prepare the house plan.
So can you
Are
zoom
you
in
getting this
the?
point?
So can you zoom in the slide?
Now
Yes, sir. Fine.
it's better.
Yes, sir.
So prepare the house plan if that is the first activity, the initial activity or the starting activity. So there will be no activity prior to this. Therefore, in the fourth column under predecessor we have a dash. Preparing the house plan is an activity and predecessor is dash. Construct the house is another activity, B. Which activity should have been completed before B? Which activity should have been completed before you start constructing the house?
So activity A.
एक्टिविटी ए शुड हैव बीन कंप्लीट, इसलिए जब तक आपका प्लान नहीं बनेगा तब तक आप कंस्ट्रक्शन नहीं शुरू कर सकते. So therefore, under the column predecessor, you will find that for activity B, the predecessor is activity A. Now coming to third activity, fix the door windows and wiring the house. दोनों से पहले B का होना जरूरी है. B means construction.
Construction.
क्योंकि डोर और विंडो, so door and window cannot be fixed unless you have your walls available, isn't it?
Indeed.
The structure has been completed. So therefore, activity C, the prayer is activity B, and for activity D also we have this B. However, there is no sequence in fixing the door and wiring the house. They are independent. They can be done in parallel, but they both will start after the house has been constructed, means the structure is ready. And then for painting, C should have been completed. Means fixing the door and windows, everything done, and then the painting, and then polishing the door for activity completed. Okay, there seems to be some here B and C related with wiring and door. I mean, this is one example which I have taken from somewhere. When it comes to back, it will be more clear. So now just try to understand this, the structure of this table. First column is the name of the activity. This third column is description activity. A B इस्तेमाल करते हैं जिससे आगे हर जगह उस एक्टिविटी का पूरा नाम लिखना appropriate नहीं. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, and the last column is about the duration, means the time required for completion of that activity. For activity A, for example, 4 days. For house, 58 days. For fixing the doors, 2 days. And just an example, arbitrary example. So what we do, that we, the first in Cpm and Pert is that draw a diagram, and this diagram is called network diagram. Network diagram consists of three things. And three symbols which are used is a circle, a straight line, and an arrow. Sometimes dotted lines are also used, where I will explain in some other example. So circle is used to represent starting or completion of an event. So you should be familiar with these terms. Circles represents beginning or completion of an event, and you names as 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can name as 100, 200, 300, 400. Those are not your calculation part. They are just for identification. So these circles, they represent events, big or terminating one or more activities. One more, you can see here at event or nodes, is called node, node. So either beginning of an event of an activity or a set of activities. Here, two activities being completed. That is also an event. This is event 4, where activity C is completed. So these circles represents either beginning or completion of one or more activities. That is what we mean by an event. जैसे हमने कहा कि अगर हम कंस्ट्रक्शन स्ट्रक्चर का पार्ट पूरा कर लें तो हाउस तो कंप्लीट नहीं होगा, प्रोजेक्ट तो पूरा नहीं होगा, लेकिन एक इवेंट पूरी हो जाएगी, मींस कंस्ट्रक्शन का काम पूरा हो गया. And then what we do, we make use of this arrow to show the direction of activity. Sorry, the second symbol that we use is a straight line, which connects any two events. And the direction of this, and this is called activity, and the direction of activity is denoted by this arrow. Two more information that we write on this diagram, what we are calling is a network diagram, are the name of the activity and its duration. इस केस में ड्यूरेशन यहाँ अलग अलग लिख दिया इन्होंने क्योंकि डिस्क्राइब कर दिया, वरना यू कैन सिंपली नाउ कैन से A, and here below the line you can name the activity, and above the line you can write its duration, or the other way around. So, but this is your network diagram, and then we make duration. Please ask before we move.
सर ये आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन. तो सर इसमें जो आपकी प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट में सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट लाइफ साइकिल और सॉफ्टवेयर टेस्टिंग होता है, अगर हम लोग आईटी कंपनी में कंसीडर करें तो इसी में इंक्लूड होते हैं या फिर वो अलग ही कंसीडर किया जाएगा?
नहीं, दैट इज आल्सो अ प्रोजेक्ट.
सर वो चीज हम इसमें मेंशन नहीं करेंगे ना, प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट में वो सारी चीजें
Hello.
Your voice is fluctuating actually. Your voice is fluctuating, because of that we are not able to understand your words.
Hello.
Yes sir, now fine.
What about?
Sir, I was asking.
Okay. Yes.
Sir, I was asking कि IT कंपनीज में आपकी डिफरेंट साइकिल्स होती है, जैसे सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट लाइफ साइकिल होती है, सॉफ्टवेयर टेस्टिंग लाइफ साइकिल होती है, तो वो
software development and this survey testing, they're all part of some project. Software development is also an example of project.
तो सर हम वो वाली चीजें प्रोजेक्ट सर तो वो प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट लाइफ साइकिल में ही इंक्लूड करेंगे या फिर उसको अलग रखेंगे हम लोग? We will categorize, we will put it into a different category.
Whatever is its category is project, and that is project management techniques, project management concept, and we follow almost the same steps for all such problems. maybe it's becomes more example. Now you look at this. For example, we are talking about this project where we cost, production plan, production costing, pricing, and production. I mean, this is a project of what? Project for producing or production of a product. So what do we do first? We make sales forecast or demand forecast. Then we prepare the production plan. Then we do production costing and pricing. Means at what price should we sell. Then we start. इसलिए कि पहली 1 2 3 4 A B C D they are all is the actual production. This is again an example. Means not we may not be including all activities which are necessarily there, but just to show you that what does it mean. So if sales forecast is activity A, production plan in activity B, production costing in activity C, pricing is activity D, and production is activity activity E. So look at the immediate predecessor. What is the predecessor of sales forecast?
So nothing. So because we will be doing surveys and questionnaires to figure out what is in demand in the market
That will be
accordingly.
your first activity, the starting activity. But before production plan, you must have your forecast with you. So therefore, for activity B, A is the predecessor, immediate predecessor. I am talking about immediate. I mean, even if you don't write immediate, but that means immediate predecessor. Or you can have immediate successor. अगर आपको कहीं numerical example में immediate successor भी मिल सकता है. So for activity C, again production plan is important. For pricing, what is required? Before you start
Production
on
costing.
pricing,
The production costing.
yes, costing must have been so A. And before production, you need to complete B and D. Means production plan and pricing both must have been completed. Then only you will go for production. And then the third column we have duration of these activities and rest of the things do later. The first step in this is network diagram. So this is the network diagram. Means now this is your starting event or node, and I can mark it as 1. Then from here starts activity A. It completes here. That becomes another event. Means completion of forecast is an event. Event is completion of one or more activities. उसको हम event कह सकते हैं. So that event is represented 2. Again, I 1, 2, 3, 4 can be anything because they are just for identifying the starting event. Event 2 is the completion of activity A, and here we can write A just to denote the name of the activity, and below that we can write the duration of that activity. You can see that sales forecast requires 10 days. Been done, production planning and production costing can be done after this only. So B starts here and C starts here. B consumes 15 days, you can see here, and production costing requires 5 days. After production costing only, we go for activity D, means pricing. This is your pricing activity. And once pricing and production plan both are completed, means that becomes an event 4, and where it starts the next activity, what we call as production, E, and it is completed here at node 5. So this diagram is a network diagram which shows the sequence or interdependence of these activities. A, the starting activity is independent of all, therefore it is a starting activity. but B depends on the completion of A, C also depends on the completion of A, and D depends on completion of C, and E depends on the completion of both. So therefore, for sales forecast, there is no immediate कुछ नहीं है इसके इधर. Production plan के लिए necessary that it should have been done. Similarly, for production costing, it is compulsory that forecast must have been, and so on. So these are events, these are activities, this is the direction, and here we have above the line we have the name of the activity, and below the line we have the duration. Then what we need to calculate? We are trying to find out critical path. This exercise is for critical path method. Now you look at these 5 columns. This is called EST, earliest start time, and I hope that you are writing earliest start time. EST is earliest start time. The second one is earliest finish time, EFT. The third one is LST, latest start time. Then we have latest finish time. And the last one is total float time. I repeat, EST is for earliest start time, EFT is earliest finish time, LST is latest start time, and LFT is latest finish time, and TFT is total float time. Of what? Of these activities. Now look at the first column, EST. A is the starting activity, therefore earliest start time of this activity is 0 because that is your beginning. जब project शुरू होगा तो वो उस वक्त t equals time t equals 0 पे शुरू होगा. Earliest start time 10 days. Then earliest start time of B. So after how many days of the beginning? Earliest by what time B can be started?
10.
Earliest by what? Earliest start time is
after 10 days completion of A.
Yes. So definition of EST is earliest start time means the time earliest by which an activity can be initiated. So B activity cannot be initiated before 10 days. इसलिए कि 10 days is the time required for sales forecast. Therefore, earliest start of activity B here. Earliest start B is 10 days. Earliest start C?
So 10 days.
10 days.
Is also 10 days because you can see the starting point of C is also same, means node 2. So anything before that is the time consuming activity. So therefore, for activity also the earliest start time is 10 दिन से पहले. 10 दिन कब से? जब से प्रोजेक्ट शुरू हुआ था, जिसको हमने डेटम लाइन ली थी 0 से के बाद ये प्रोजेक्ट शुरू, ये एक्टिविटी शुरू हो सकती बी और सी. नाउ कमिंग टू डी, what activity should be completed before we initiate D?
A and C.
A and C.
So production costing.
Yeah, A and C.
And
A and
the
C should
production.
now A and C both. I mean, this is the starting point of activity D. So आपको यहाँ तक आने के लिए क्या क्या कर चुकना चाहिए? ये और ये. Am I right? To start this activity D, आप start जब करेंगे ना, जब आप यहाँ होंगे, और यहाँ होने के लिए 10 दिन इधर चाहिए, 5 दिन इधर चाहिए. So you require 15 days to reach to this point. So therefore, earliest start time of D is
15 days.
So 15 days.
No, 15 days. Now, earliest start of E.
Sir, 5 days or 15 days?
When will E? Because this, where is the starting point of D? This one? 0.3?
Yes,
Yes or
sir.
no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
तो पॉइंट थ्री इज द स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट ऑफ डी. तो डी को स्टार्ट करने का मतलब आपको यहां तक पहुंचना चाहिए ना, और यहां तक पहुंचने के लिए आपको प्रोजेक्ट के शुरू से
So 15 days चाहिए
15
हमारे को.
days.
एंड
Third
5
point पे.
days फॉर. यस.
So
एंड
1 to 2 reach करने के लिए
yes,
A चाहिए.
is your question answered by 15? I
Yes,
hope that
sir.
is answered, because you
Yes,
can.
sir.
Now, the starting activity, a starting point for E is this one, this point. Which one?
The fourth point.
Starting 4. Now, यहाँ तक पहुँचने के लिए how much time is required? Tell me.
सर अगर हम लोग 1 to
E शुरू
4
करने के
जाएंगे,
लिए
तो अगर हम लोग 1 to 4 जाएंगे तो हमारा 25 है, और अगर हम लोग 1 2 3 4 जाएंगे तो हमारा 20 days है.
ठीक है. तो what is the earliest start out of the two?
20 days.
5 days. Because if you are talking about the beginning of E, that you are at 4, और 4 तक पहुंचने के लिए आपको A, B और इधर से C और D सब पूरा होना चाहिए, है ना? एंड दैट मीन्स अगर आप इस दो को कंसिडर करें 5 डेज और इसको कंसिडर करें बात को, तो द लार्जेस्ट ऑफ द टू विल बी स्टार्टिंग कि अगर आपने 20 दिन अर्ली से स्टार्ट कहा 10 + 5 + 5, तो 20 दिन में ये 3 एक्टिविटीज तो पूरी हो जाएंगी, A, C एंड D.
But
लेकिन
these
अगर
नहीं.
A और B मिला, हेलो
Yes,
जी
go ahead.
बताएं.
सर आपकी आवाज ब्रेक हो रही है.
हेलो. यस.
You are audible, sir.
Okay, so 25 days earliest start is 25, because to start E you need to complete A, B, C and D, all 4. So if you look at this path, what we call is path, if you look at this path 10 + 5 + 5 20, if you look at this path 10 + 15 is 25. So larger value will be your earliest start for E. Why? Because if you take earliest start as 20, 10 + 5 + 5, then A, C और D ये तो पूरी हो चुकेंगी, लेकिन अभी B चल रहा होगा उस वक्त. B चल रहा होगा, and therefore you cannot do this E. So therefore, out of these two, means 20 and 25, we will take 25 as the earliest start time. Therefore, earliest start time of production is 25 days. And now the next column is earliest finish time. Do you have some next class also?
Sir, tomorrow.
No. Is there any other class, any other subject after this?
No,
No,
sir.
sir. This is the last class for today.
Okay. Okay. So earliest finish time of an activity is the earliest start time plus activity, the activity duration. Means earliest start time of A, if you want to say, earliest start time in activity, the earliest finish time. Earliest finish time. Earliest finish time of an activity is earliest start time plus duration. Correct? Earliest start of is the earliest start time, its duration. So the earliest A now 10. Earliest B is 25 days. Earliest
25.
finish of D is 50. Finish of D is
20.
50. 20th finish time of E plus 25, 45 days. That means once project starts, point, it will take days to complete the project. It will take 45 days to complete the project. And then we also have latest start and latest finish time. Because sometimes what happens is these days when we are teaching a course, so there is earliest start of the semester. Now, since we are holding these classes when the situation has not been normal, so earliest start, okay, whatever the earliest start of the second semester. What will be the earliest start of second semester? When all activities of first semester are completed. Correct? अब फॉर
Yes,
एग्जाम्पल
sir.
अभी हम अब शुरू करें, आपका लास्ट वर्किंग डे जैसे 4th है, उसके बाद आपके एग्जाम होंगे, फिर मान लीजिए 10 दिन एग्जाम होंगे, फॉर एग्जाम्पल से 15. सो 15th of April इज योर अर्लीस्ट फिनिश. लेकिन अगर हम आपके ये क्लास एक्सटेंड कर दें, 4th की जगह मान लीजिए 10 दिन इसमें एक्सटेंड हो गए, 10 दिन एग्जाम के हो गए, तो आपका फिर नेक्स्ट फिनिश टाइम क्या हो गया? 25 अप्रैल, अगर 10 दिन पोस्टपोन कर दिया. लेकिन देयर हैज टू बी ए सर्टेन लिमिट ऑन दैट. ऐसा को एक्सटेंड करते रहे और चलता रहेगा, इसलिए देयर इज सम विच यू हैव टू. अगर हम फर्स्ट सेकंड सेमेस्टर 15 अप्रैल 15 की जगह 25 कर दें, 25 की जगह, is it possible? No, because we have to complete your first year, means semester, second semester by date. Time is time of an activity is the time latest by you can, that is LST, latest start time, means latest by what time you can without completion time. मेरे पास अभी जैसे मैं आई रिपीट, इफ योर लास्ट वर्किंग डेज से 10th, लास्ट वर्किंग डेज 10th, फ्रॉम 20th अप्रैल गेन योर एग्जाम. अब हमारे पास 10 दिन का टाइम है शुरू करने, एग्जाम पूरा किया 10 दिन अगर एग्जाम के लिए, कि हमको फर्स्ट की सारी 30th अप्रैल तक करनी है, तो हमारे पास एक कहाँ दिख रही है? किस डे दिख रही है? आई रिपीट, वर्किंग डे इज 10th of April. Exam begins on 20th, exam completes on 30th, and then from 1st of May, for example, we start the second semester. तो अगर हमारे पास क्या क्या ऑप्शन है, अगर हम किसी चीज को डिले करना चाहें या पोस्टपोन करना चाहें, तो वो कहाँ हो सकता है? यस, एनी आंसर फ्रॉम योर साइड?
ड्यूरेशन पार्ट पे
आवाज आ रही? नहीं, 2 हुई ना, हो गया 10th of April।
सर ड्यूरेशन पार्ट
एक्टिविटी हो गई टीचिंग की, मतलब टीचिंग अभी चल रही है, नहीं ड्यूरेशन है ना, अभी एक ड्यूरेशन है आपकी जो क्लास लेके 10 अप्रैल तक, ये पूरी एक ड्यूरेशन है टीचिंग के लिए। उसके बाद 10 से लेके 20 से लेके complete that will start on 10th and will come till 20th. Then you will have your exam to 30th, and from 1st you will second semester. So अगर 30th April is your last working day including examination for first semester, तो किस चीज को, तो इसका 20 तारीख से एग्जाम शुरू ना करके अगर हम 25 तारीख शुरू करें तो क्या नहीं एग्जाम के लिए। तो अगर हमने 20 तारीख से एग्जाम शुरू नहीं किया तो व्हाट विल,
सर जो हम लोगों का सेकेंड सेमेस्टर का ड्यूरेशन है
that will be affected। के बाद सेकंड सेमेस्टर डिले होगा, आपका फर्स्ट ईयर का कंप्लीशन डिले होगा,
तो पूरी प्रोजेक्ट लाइफ साइकिल है वो अफेक्ट हो जाएगी।
तो व्हाट वी कैन डू, तो हमारे 10 से थोड़ा और बढ़ा दें 12, प्रिपरेशन का एक्टिविटी कर सकते हैं, एग्जाम को क्रैश नहीं कर सकते। we have attendance, so therefore this concept of latest start, earliest start of preparation leave is 11th April, earliest finish will become April, start of,
Sir, your voice is breaking a lot.
Yes, sir. Sir, we are not able to get your points clearly.
नहीं आ रहा था।
सर आवाज नहीं आ रही आपकी।
इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, हेलो,
यस सर ऑडिबल है।
सर आवाज नहीं आती है आपके सर।
okay, so what we do now, we stop here for today because there is a lot of electricity and connectivity. I don't know why in the department today, it's unprecedented, but for some reason there is a fault, very there is a problem of connectivity. So today we stop here and we continue